My dad and I have started a Youth to Gold challenge. A challenge that could take us 13 seasons to complete, where we are only allowed to sign teenagers and not allowed to use players 30 or above from the second season. But if one of us is to win the Champions League before 13 seasons, it's an instant win. If not, it's down to whoever accumulates the most points from being more successful or selling players that we have bought for huge profits. Basically, Youth to Gold is buying young talents and making money at your club. And on this journey, Dad and I have found ourselves in France at Nantes and Lorient. But Season 1 went down well with us both picking up wins against each other. However, Dad is slightly ahead due to finishing one position higher in the league, meaning after one season, Dad is in the lead with the scores being 3-1. But all can change very quickly in Youth to Gold. As soon as Season 1 was over, I began looking at players I could sell to bump my transfer budget up, including my main centre-back, who is now 31 years old and of course cannot play another game for me as the Youth to Gold rules state, despite playing 31 games last season. But that £12 million would be cut down because the board are refusing to up the transfer revenue I am to receive, with it sitting at 75%. Dad is in a worse situation with his revenue from transfers being at 55%. However, he had more to be concerned with, because Dad was unable to sign anybody at this point due to the club going through a current takeover. And while he was having a tantrum about that, my best player was having a tantrum about staying at the club and wanting to move to a bigger one. The takeover at Nantes didn't stop Dad from selling players though, and he accepted bids for his 30-plus-year-olds, although they were rejecting to leave and becoming a bit of a nightmare for Dad over the summer. Eventually, when my centre-back left for £12 million, I had already identified his replacement, a 19-year-old Romanian centre-back that my scouts rate rather highly, and I had accepted a bid for £5 million. He was happy to join the club as well as a new goalkeeper who I found for just £1 million. While I was making yet another signing, bringing in a right winger from the Netherlands, Dad's embargo was finally lifted, and the new board had decided to give him £5 million to spend on transfers. But he began to panic when the board went rogue, putting in offers for players far too old for the Youth to Gold. Thankfully, however, he was able to cancel them and not break the rules. And he began signing players to the club finally now that the shackles were off, as well as selling players like Dietz, who would still bring in a good amount of money for more transfers. And as more players came in for Dad, the season drew ever closer to the beginning. And once it did, Dad was introduced to an early PSG game again, unfortunately picking up 0 points thanks to a mistake by his young midfielder. My Lorient side, on the other hand, had no excuses. We were just awful against them. Well, that was a very active summer window.
Yeah, definitely, yeah.
I mean, you had a board takeover going on for a while. We were doing transfers left, right and centre, but the second season of Youth to Gold is finished, or second summer transfer window. So let's have a look then. I sold a couple of players. There's a £2.1 million going out there, but if we also look at this, I managed to sell quite a lot of players, including a couple of players who are 30. There is still in the club that I couldn't get rid of. I've had to put them into the second team. It's the best we can do at this point, really.
Yeah.
But the players that we brought in, quite some interesting signings, I think. So let's have a look. I've got in at the start here Jan Kabula, goalkeeper. Straight off the bat, I needed a second goalkeeper for when eventually my goalkeeper is too old. As it is right now, he ain't too bad. I actually need to put him into the team to begin with because I only have one goalkeeper in there, so it's a good job we did this. But then we've also got what I think is my best signing of the summer, and that is the centre-back, Manu, the Romanian.
Oh, he looks so good, doesn't he?
He looks fantastic.
Both-footed as well. That is even better, isn't it?
I think his only downside, really, he's got low vision, low aggression, but he's only 19. Good potential on the game. And I now think I've got two very good centre-backs.
Yeah.
Who are both only 19. So I'm really happy with that. Van den Broek from Feyenoord. It comes in on the right-hand side. It's a position that I'm using quite well. And I think he actually can go straight into the team. But I'm going to lock him in there anyway so that he plays as many games as possible. Finally, another guy from Feyenoord. £6.25 million. A DM who is going to be used as a rotation option. I've got 4 players in that DM spot who I don't mind using. As you can see, I'm pretty much doing exactly the same tactic as last season, but I'm using my fullbacks as more support roles, and we've got some players locked in here who I want to see play as many games as possible, including Gaudino, who I mentioned last season. I made the mistake of not nailing him in.
Yeah.
The right back should have been playing more often. The rest of the team, though, kind of happy with where the players go who are already in those positions. Yourself, Dad, I mean, I thought at one point you weren't even going to get any signings in the door.
It did look like that, didn't it? It just,
So-
every time I tried to sign them, they wouldn't let me do it, would they?
Yeah, they gave you a bit of money, but then the wage bill that they gave you was so much that you were able to push more into the transfer budget. So you sold £12 million, 11 million come from Dietz.
Yes.
I would have done exactly the same thing.
Well, I had a couple of players that are in that position, and my best player in my team plays virtually the same position as well. So,
Yeah.
Which is worth a lot more money than him, so I could afford to lose one of them.
Exactly.
That's the one I decided to take.
At
let go.
age 27, the whole point of Youth to Gold is to sell the players in their prime.
Yeah.
27 onwards is definitely in their prime.
Yeah, a good bit of money for me, that is.
Very good indeed. So it allowed you to bring in quite a few players. And if we have a look, Mariette was the last one of last season. That's how long the ball takeover took. It went until the 1st of July before any players came through the door. So your first signing was a cheap youngster that came in through the door who's going to play a bit of a bit part. But this is the replacement you're using to play in that ball-winning midfielder role. Doesn't look anything now, but with a bit of game time,
That's right.
he could be something.
He could well be, and he's got a really good experienced player beside him, which could bring him along as well. I think.
Yeah, good amount of natural fitness, which is always a good sign, and a high determination, which is good for a youngster this early on in his career. Diogo Ribeiro, so you've got a couple. You've got the Ukrainian guy who plays that attacking midfielder role, but this one's also decent too.
Yeah, it is, yeah.
A lot of green arrows already. He's good at finishing, great passing ability and technique.
I mean,
so,
it's good to have two players in that position as well, because they can fight it out between them.
Yeah, he
And
gets into
also,
the opposition area.
That's right, yeah. And one of these players could be the big one for the points with the sell-on clauses. and things like that.
Exactly, yeah. That sell-on clause is one of those things where it's going to give us an incentive.
Yeah, I mean, we're not looking at it now, but 3 seasons' time, 4 seasons' time, it's going to start clicking in.
Exactly. If you're 5-10 points behind, selling a
And
couple
I've got
of players,
two players
can
in
make a
one
big difference.
position, and one of them's worth a lot of money, and the other one's just as good. See you later.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Matt Holseth, £1.9 million, loaned him back to Stabæk, which is a good move, I thought.
Yeah, I had 2 good centre defenders as it was anyway, so I could afford to let this guy go out and get a bit more experience for me.
Yep. Game time is just as important in Youth to Gold as anything else. But I think what was smart is because you already had this guy come in, Bjornbach, who, again, 18 Norwegian. You could have a double Norwegian centre-back partnership very soon. But this guy's better, and he goes straight in.
Straight in the team, yes.
18 years of age,
Really pleased with that.
3-star.
That just goes to show how good he actually is. So.
Yeah. So I'm excited for that one to see how well you develop him. It's weird because although we're against each other, you're signing players. I'm like, oh, he looks good.
Yeah.
Danny Willems, who is Dutch, loaned out to Auxerre. That was a good move too. You're going to get some first-team football in that centre midfield spot. Doesn't go into your team naturally
He
now.
still looks good now, doesn't he?
Yeah, £6.5 million is a gamble in a way
It's a lot of money for
because of the money that we have.
Yeah.
But, I mean, he got 1 assist in the Nantes second team. He's gone out on loan to Auxerre in the second division. I think that's a good standard for him. And then finally, Mario Marin, who comes in on that right-hand side, but he can also he's also be playing in the second team.
Yeah.
Again, it was such an easy decision for 300k to loan him.
I mean,
sign
I
him.
could sell him for 2 million, and that's a big profit.
It's a profit, yeah. So tactically, you're going with pretty much the same tactic where a little bit of changes, but you're nailing in 5 players.
Well, the striker I put out on loan last season.
And he did really well,
and he
15
done really
goals
well.
in the second division, yeah.
So that was just a no-brainer, him going straight in the team.
He's got 2 goals already.
Yeah.
And if we didn't nail him in, it was the likes of Cho and Victor who was going into the team. Now, Cho naturally goes on the right-hand side anyway, but I think Gramada playing from the off is a good decision. You got Serbin, the Ukrainian, who was really good last year, as next to Ribeiro, who signed this season.
That's the gamble,
and Brannan.
locking them 2 players in, but it's worth a gamble.
You lacked goals last season.
Yeah.
It's one of those ones where it's like, putting in Gramada now, who is a goal scorer, you can see that just from looking at him, is good. But these 2 players need the game time to get to the point to be better than the players that you got now who aren't scoring goals.
That's right, definitely, yeah.
So that's the gamble with Youth to Gold.
I mean, the good thing about it as well, the keeper's a really good keeper, and the back 4 picks itself.
Yes.
So I usually find if you've got a steady back 4, you're in with a chance, really.
Yeah. Schedule then. Let's have a look at the start of the season. We're about to play each other very soon in a couple of league games time. Of course, you've got a Europa League phase to look at as well. The games that you've played already, you have beaten Marseille.
Yeah.
And you have beaten Brest.
Make a tip myself there, then, didn't I?
What a corny joke. But you have lost to PSG and Lyon. Only 2-1. Both games.
I'm not disappointed with those 2 results.
I wouldn't be either.
No.
Considering they had Victor Gyökeres and Vinicius Junior score the goals.
Says it all, doesn't it?
Yeah. I think the only one you really could be disappointed with is that 2-2 draw to Cannes.
Yeah.
But there we go. That ain't too bad. So Europa League fixtures, let's see them already. You got Young Boys, Batumi, Freiburg, Club Brugge, Rangers and Sociedad at the end there might be.
2 odd games as well in it.
But very capable of qualifying, I think.
I think I could qualify, but whether I go much further, that's a bit like that then.
But you want to qualify for the money. That's it.
And the good thing is what experience it is given for the young boys.
Money,
in Europe as
experience, and reputation.
Yes,
that's what you need.
Yeah.
My schedule then, let's have a look then. I've not fared too well against PSG. At home, lost 5-0. Gonzalo Ramos got 2, Bellingham got 2, and Vitinha. So it wasn't a very good game for me whatsoever. Other than that, I've been unbeaten, just not done very well. 1-1 against Monaco. That's actually a really good result away from home. 0-0 against Troyes, which is a result I'm really disappointed with, if I'm honest. The home result against Reims is annoying because I was 2-0 up and lost the win. So really, that's 3 points lost in my eyes.
Definitely, yeah.
And then the win against Strasbourg away from home. Got to be happy with that one, and especially because Van den Broek scored in the 11th minute, and Omar Sol has got himself on the score sheet. So that's 2 goals he's got already. I just need him to continue. Funny enough, I'm also in the Europa League, which, that's quite decent, isn't it? Both in the same competition. Imagine early on we get drawn against the... Oh, God, the drama already.
The semi-final.
Oh,
That'd be
God.
Wouldn't it?
So Hajduk splits my first game. Got Rosenborg Sevilla. I've definitely got the worst.
Yes, 100%. Yeah.
Newcastle, AZ, Bologna and Galatasaray. Are we in the same competition? This is ridiculous.
It don't look like it, does it?
Right, Youth to Gold season number 2 is underway. Let's see what happens. What happened is that Dad's Nantes side took to Europe like a fish to water and swept the league phase. Although saying that, I didn't do too bad either at Lorient, picking up enough wings to qualify for the playoff stage. Dad went straight through to the round of 16. Meanwhile, I had to overcome Real Sociedad, which I did 5-3 on aggregate. In the league, we clashed rather early on, and Dad's side took the lead, looking like the much better team. I did not feel bad though when we stole a point by Munich, scoring a very late headed equaliser. Unfortunately for me, I couldn't do the same in the second fixture we had against Dad, as he picked up a 1-0 win. Outside of exiting the cup to a team in the league below, Dad's Nantes side were rampant this season, going 5.5 months without losing a single game, sat in second place in March. And I wasn't having much of a good time limbering down at the bottom half watching it happen. March also saw my exit of the Europa League to Newcastle, while Dad was defying the odds, eliminating Sevilla and heading to the quarter-finals, where he was eventually welcomed to hell, losing 4-0 to Galatasaray. An old enemy of mine was knocking me out of the semi-final of the Coupe de France, and I could only look on as my dad was also qualifying for the Champions League next season. But could he hold on to a second-place finish with Marseille on the final game of the season? Well, Dad, what a season your Nantes boys had.
They did, didn't they? Really pleased with that. I mean,
I didn't see that coming.
No, I didn't. I mean, look at PSG. Look, they lost 2 games. That's the only point they dropped as well. They didn't even draw any.
They only conceded 17.
So really, take away PSG, I won the league.
Yeah, I mean, that's not how it goes.
No.
But you got to say, best of the rest. It ain't too bad at all.
I'm
71 points
that,
along with Marseille. I'm all the way down in 12th.
Yeah.
That is a long way down. In comparison as well, in terms of the points, you almost had double the amount of points I had. So I really need to sort things out for season number 3. But it's not a sprint, it's a marathon.
That's what it is. All about building the players up, isn't it?
Gold. Exactly.
You might have had players in different positions than me that made it harder for yourself.
If we go 3 seasons in and it's this much of a gap, then I'm going to start to be a little bit worried. But second season, after I've had to sell 2 of my centre-backs and all things like that, I don't mind. Jude Bellingham was top scorer and won the Golden Boot this year, with Vinicius Jr. in second. But after that,
that's why
2 players
I did,
at Nantes.
Yeah, that's why I come where I did.
Your winger, Mohamed Ali Cho, got 18, and Gramada,
that's the striker though,
17.
Yeah.
And look how good he was there.
Yeah.
Oh, already looking absolutely phenomenal. A reminder, he came through the youth academy.
Didn't cost me a penny.
Didn't cost you a penny. You just gave him an opportunity. Yeah. So really good stuff.
The other thing
I've
just spotted there as well is
clean
sheets.
12 clean sheets.
So that's another reason why I'm where I am then, isn't it?
Nowhere near Donnarumma, but bloody hell, 21. That's why we picked this league, though.
Yeah, it's good.
To be as hard as what it could be against PSG, the money that they've got, and it is going to be the challenge. I also did it to beat Rennes. Unfortunately, they finished above me in this one. But we're both in the Europa League. We both got to the latter stages of the Europa League. Dad, you got to the quarter-final, which was not too bad at all.
I mean, I'm pleased with it, but I'm disappointed at losing.
4-0 on aggregate to
Yeah.
Galatasaray. It's tough, yeah.
And when you look at the other teams that was in it as well, it was going to be hard. And you got the Spurs in there, you got Newcastle, Fenerbahce,
Spurs went on and won it.
Yeah. They were probably the favourites to win it anyway, weren't they?
No. Round of 16 was, as far as I got, Newcastle, who I would have said probably were the favourites.
Yeah.
In there,
Close.
money-wise
Yeah.
and everything like that. Very close to Tottenham and Newcastle, and it really hurt me to say that. But yeah, 4-1 on aggregate from me. So let's, recap of I had to go through the knockout playoff round. You didn't. You finished in the top 4 there without losing in the league phase. So you had a really good league phase as well. I struggled a little bit. I lost 2 games. One was against Newcastle, eventually knocked me out. Bologna was the other one. Drew 3 as well, but we knew I had harder games. But I can beat Galatasaray. 4-1 at home.
4-1, yeah. Good result.
The other cup competition, though, you got to the 11th round beaten by Nimes.
Disappointed with that.
Wait till you see mine, though. Semi-final by Rennes.
I mean, you're never going to win it.
No, it was PSG in the final, but
It'd have been nice to get
it's
into
just
the final,
annoying
wouldn't
that it was against Rennes that beat me in the
just
final.
never know on a one game thing, do you?
Yeah.
But, yeah, unlucky. Them of all teams.
I know. The thing that cost me was Omar Sol got nowhere near the amount of goals as what he did last year. He got 17 last season. We had a good season last year. 7 this time round.
Yeah, that's a bit
Worrying. Yeah, it
Yeah.
is worrying. My top scorer is Junior Krupu, only with 14. And now I'm thinking, oh, God, what do I do striker-wise? Because I thought I was set. Omar Sol was kind of like I don't have to worry about that.
He still looks good at that.
He's
though, doesn't he?
unbelievable.
And off the ball, 18 as well.
Yeah.
Position 17.
Don't know what I'm going to
He's
do.
15. Yeah, you're looking at it. It's all there, isn't it?
Yeah.
We would
So-
buy that player every day of the week.
Even if we weren't doing a youth to gold.
Yeah.
It would be like,
I'd still buy him, yeah.
Yeah, let's go for him. So I need to look at that. There's a couple of players as well, age-wise, that I now need to sell. Morante being one of them because he played 42 games in total, Ivan Morante. So he needs to go before next season. Transfer budget-wise, I've only got £1 million, so I'm going to have to spend... I'm going to have to sell players if I want to spend any. But yourself, Dad, let's look at deeper dive into yours. Now, goals-wise, 27 and 26 from your top 2. Unbelievable.
Yeah.
Muhammad Ali Cho got 18 assists as well, which is
That's good, isn't it? Yeah.
very good from
Yeah.
the left-hand side.
I was thinking about getting rid of him this season, but I don't think I will now.
I mean, you had an offer, didn't you?
Yeah, I did.
At the start of the season, there was an offer, and I said, do you want to accept? And he said, no. You're very glad you did now.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Antonelli Serbin. There was the Ukrainian that you nailed in, and it was a good decision yet again. Because 11 goals and 6 assists, better than last season. Really good signing for 1.8 million.
Yeah, definitely, yeah.
Looks like a cracking player already, and that's why I love Youth to Go, because straight away, he's a fan favourite on your side.
Yeah.
You have got a couple of players that you need to sell, though. David Pereira da Costa's 29. There's a Rainier 28 there. The other player that you nailed in only played 17. Makes me think that possibly there was an injury. 6 months.
6 months, yeah.
Cruciate ligaments.
That's a shame, really. I'd like to see him a bit more.
He needs a second chance.
Yeah.
Really, isn't it? That's the thing. Hopefully he's not an injury-prone player. Morten Frendrup as well is the other player that you're going to have to say goodbye to at some point.
Big money one, that one. It's not a bad season, so hopefully I'll get quite a bit of money for him.
He's in his prime now.
Yeah.
The rest of your team's getting quite good, I think. That's the positives to look at. Your keeper,
he done really well.
he kept some clean sheets this year. He did really well. Good bit of development there. But your money, Dad, for next season is only £2 million.
Well, if that other player comes through, 70 million, that's a lot of money then on a lot of youngsters,
I don't
isn't
think you're going to get £70 million, but
no,
we'll have
no.
to see.
I'll accept 50, I think.
Yeah. All right, going into season number 3 of Youth to Gold then, but we have to check the points, and that is because you finished higher, so you get 2 points straight off the bat from that.
Yep.
No cup wins, no players sold, obviously, yet. However, we had 2 fixtures against each other. Dad, you won one of them. 1-0 at my ground, but in the home leg for you, we drew 1-1 with a late 86th minute goal.
Yep.
So you get an extra point there, which means you get 3 points to my 0. Which means the total points are Omega Luke with 1 and Omega Dad with 6. Okay, so it's 6-1 going into season number 3.
That's nothing at the moment.
No, I need to bounce back,
Yeah.
though, because you are now in the Champions League, which means the season after, you're going to have money
Yes.
and experience and all of the good stuff that comes with the Champions League. So, yeah, I best get working the transfer market. Once again, I started the summer window on the attack, finding a defensive midfielder, knowing that I had to sell one who would turn 30 throughout the season, and he left for 9 million. More players were joining my club as I looked to close the gap on our two teams. But Dad was being smart though, as he received a massive offer for his centre-back Rojas, who could be bringing in big money for a player that he'd have to sell anyway next season. In trying to bridge the gap though, I signed way too many non-EU players, for which I can only register 4, but this striker was just too good to turn down. Dad's main task this summer though was to sell his best player Frendrup, simply because of his age and the youth to go rules, and he only got £17 million for him. The question is, how well can he replace the first team players sold, and how will it affect his league performance in season 3? Well, Dad, I did think you've managed to get rid of the players that you needed to get rid of, but they're gone.
Yeah, it was a struggle, but we got rid of them. All right. I didn't get as much money as I wanted from, but at the end of the day, you got to take what you can, and you really.
Yeah, Pereira da Costa going for 1.3.
Yeah.
Frendrup, which was the big one. I mean, you
Yeah.
were going, £70 million he's worth.
Yeah. 17 million.
Yeah, you were never going to get that.
I was lucky to get that, I feel.
Yeah, I
in the
mean,
end.
the trouble is with those players, unless somebody is already wanting them, it's so difficult to get
First
that much
offer
money
I was
for
7,
them.
wasn't it?
Yeah. So it's kind of just not really possible. And you've got a good amount of money coming out, actually, from the likes of Rojas going. Who
Yeah.
you didn't need to sell this season.
No, I didn't, no.
But capitalise on the fact that somebody wanted him this year, which is smart.
Yeah.
In youth to go. You take the money when you can. He went out for £24 million.
Just meant I had to replace him with another good one, really. So.
Yeah, and you had a better one lined up.
Yeah, I did, yeah.
But the board at Dad's club are refusing to allow him to sign Andre Silva
Yeah.
for the amount of money which was being asked, which was about £20 million.
I was gutted.
I mean, the only thing he's got downside is natural fitness,
Yeah.
which means obviously he's really susceptible to being terrible quite early on in his career and injuries as well. But other than that, you look at him and you think he's a really good centre-back.
The perfect replacement, really.
Yeah. But I think you did find some good players outside of that. I mean, actually, you started off quite early in terms of the signings. Was that this year? No, it wasn't this year. So the June there, you got 100k coming in for a backup right back, but he's gone straight into the second side. Tomasov was a starting centre-back that you decided to bring in, so he's not too bad. Nowhere near the quality of the last guy, but still good enough at the level we're at. Decent with both feet. Then you've got Dakari, who is £8.25 million at left back, Dorian Dakari. Then we've got Ryan Kessler, Lons, who plays right back and left back. He's gone into the second team. Might be worth bumping him up, actually, into that first team, so he gets first team football and available for the seconds there. Then you've got Colonna from Inter Milan, who was the centre-back that you brought in instead of Andre Silva, or that whatever Silva it was he was called.
Yeah.
This one's good, though.
He's still good, yeah. I think he can improve as well, so yeah, I'm quite happy with this.
Yeah, I mean, the scouts rated him quite highly. It was 6'2", good stamina, good balance as well. Positioning, teamwork's there. Just get those technicals up, really. But these two, I mean, you've already got a couple of good Ukrainians in the side.
Yeah.
Here comes another one.
Yeah, it makes a nice friendly team spirit then, doesn't it, as well? Yeah.
For all the Ukrainians in. And then finally, I mean, you pinched quite a few really good French youngsters.
Yeah.
You got one here to play up front.
It does help having the same nationality in there, especially being home nationality as well. So
yeah,
I'm quite happy with this one as well. Another forward up there as well.
Yeah, it means you don't have to worry about their adaptability skill.
That's right,
you have a lot of players with the similar hair, which I'll be happy when that changes next year. You're still locking in the two players there.
Yeah, I had another player that was 28, I think he was.
Renier,
he kept on sort of coming into that team, didn't he? So I'll probably sell him next season.
Yeah.
But knock these players in, and I don't have to lock anybody else in apart from that, really.
No, and the only reason why you're doing that, to be honest, because Renier goes in that right-hand side. So, I mean, outside of that, you're kind of laughing, to be honest. Serbin goes in there naturally, but you also put in Ribeiro in there, who, of course, had the cruciate ligament. He could be a lot better
he could,
with that game time. So let's have a look then at my Lorient side. I've had to do a little bit of chopping and changing, and I've spent big as well. So £20 million on the outs here, with my right back being sold. I've got Morante, who was my only player that was 29, also leaving the club for £9 million. Not a lot of money really on the looks of it. But here we go. I've got Barona coming in, who I am really struggling to get these players registered, because you can only have 4 non-EU, and of course usually it's Dad. Now it's me who's signing all the South American kids who cannot be registered. But he's really good. Then we've got the likes of Ramovic, £7.5 million, good right back, the replacement of the guy that I sold. So I think he's actually better, in my opinion, anyway. So he goes straight into the first team as well. Then there's the other guy that I signed at right back, but I've loaned him back, and he's from Colombia, so he wouldn't be registered anyway, but good prospect anyway, quite cheap for less than £1 million up front. £6.5 million though on a striker. I've already got one good striker. Junior Krupi's there too, and I'm going 2 up top this year, so I needed a good backup. This guy does both jobs, in my opinion. He's good advanced forward, but deep line forward, because he does come deep to get the ball. So sometimes you just need that.
As well.
Both-footed.
Very good.
Argentinian strikers who comes deep to get the ball. It's Carlos Tevez.
Yeah, you've got to be in it.
Carlos Tevez, all over it. Now, Richard Lakatos. Hope he don't betray me like Carlos Tevez did to Manchester United. Richard Lakatos was the final signing that I made, a good centre-back. Actually, my scouts rate him so highly, they see him as a 4-star player in my side. Hungarian, so I don't have to worry about the registration purposes. Technicals are a little bit weak, but the rest of him looks really good. 6'2", and for £3.5 million, my scouts did a really good job finding that guy.
Yeah.
Played 3 games already, and I've changed to a 4-2-2. So basically, I've just moved this role up here into a DLF. I've changed a couple of the instructions around. I've got a no-nonsense centre-back in there, because Minovic is actually a really good no-nonsense centre-back. He's not very good on the ball. So that helped quite well, but I am locking in my backup goalkeeper, the Slovakian 20-year-old. Pardon you.
Thank you, sorry.
So that's the only change I'm really making, and hopefully that can make a big difference throughout the season. However, it hasn't at the start of the season. No. Some big losses, unfortunately. I've got 1 win against Marseille, but 3 losses against Lille, Nice, and Angers. And then I feel like those are the games I need to start winning if I want to be better. I mean, you finished in 2nd place last year. You would have won those games. I did draw against Monaco, but both my goals were penalties. So I'm unsure how this season is really going to play out for me. Dad, on the other hand, your schedule...
I started off so well with PSG
in the Trophy de Champions. Yeah. Technically, you've won a trophy.
Yeah.
We don't count it.
No.
But you got 1 goal in there, then lost to Reims away from home, then got battered by PSG at home.
Yeah, properly then, didn't they?
Yeah, and they've even got like Vitor Roque coming in now. At least you beat Rennes. It's the only game I am going to be cheering for you this year. And Brest. Oh, you made it to yourself.
Oh, I can't believe that.
Then you beat Lens. A nice little 1-0.
Up and down, innit? Up and down at the moment.
But of course, you got Champions League football. The first one out of us to play in the Champions League. Some hard games in there.
Yeah, definitely, yeah.
El Clasico. Barcelona and Real Madrid. Milan. Lazio at the end.
Oh, dear.
Woo. But
I don't think I'll be going very far in this one then.
You had to be good to play in it. And although you've had to sell a couple of your best players, I think you've replaced them quite well. So I'm interested to see how you do.
Hopefully they'll give me a good bit of money for that as well.
Oh, yeah, that's the main thing, isn't it? It's the experience and the money you're going to get out of it.
Yeah, definitely, yeah.
All right, Youth to Go Season 3. Let's see what happens. Dad's Champions League campaign started off very well with a 3-0 win against Shakhtar Donetsk and 3 goals from Granada. But the humbling soon began when Dad welcomed Lamine Yamal and Barcelona to Nantes, as they were frighteningly good, defeating him 6-1. But despite having to go to the Bernabeu, Real Madrid only beat Dad by 1-0. And his league phase campaign was a tough one, with 3 wins that just about seen him scrape through. When both our teams clashed in the league though in October, you wouldn't have guessed Dad's side was the one in the Champions League. My Lorient team were lethal and put away 3 goals, and you'd be thinking that if this was the only game that you watched this season, I was in charge of the best team in the league. But you'd be incredibly wrong, however, as we've been dreadful in all honesty and sat down in 13th place with Dad in 8th place, while Lyon currently running away with the league title. Back in Europe, and a special moment was created as Dad's Nantes side scored a winner to progress against Atletico Madrid in the 95th minute. Unfortunately for him though, he progresses through to the round of 16 against Barcelona. I don't really want to talk about my season though, as I'm out of the Coupe de France and it's Rennes' fault again. Renier was up to his late antics though, scoring a 95th minute winner against Barcelona in the first leg to give Dad and Nantes a 3-2 aggregate lead. But this is Barcelona at the Nou Camp, and unfortunately that means Dad is out of the Champions League. What was keeping Dad smiling though was the second fixture that we met in the league. This time Dad whipped the floor with me 3-0, and his push to make sure he still finished in a European spot next season was on now that he was out of the Champions League. And I'm sorry, but even I have to watch that assist from Muhammad Ali Cho against my team again. Good lord. Oh god. I'm scrapping for my life.
You worry by the looks of it, yeah. 3 points.
How I haven't been sacked, I do not know.
One game.
34 points, relegation zone, well, relegation playoff was 31. I'm behind Rennes again. Well done. I mean, you're not second place.
No, but then I had a full team of
New gens come
through,
selling
so
your best
I'm
players.
pleased with that. I just missed out a European spot.
Leon won the league. Wow. Let's have a look at our past positions then. You gradually grew up into it. I just stayed the same. And I mean, at one point I was in that playoff zone, but I've saved it. Kind of. But a team with Jude Bellingham, Vitor Roque, Vinicius Jr. and everybody else finished second in the league. Unbelievable. This was the guy. Whoa.
God.
18.
We missed that one, didn't we?
Well, no, he's probably come from the youth academy.
Yeah, it's true,
and just, we haven't seen him yet. But they gave him first team football. Oh, wow, 21 goals straight away. That is unbelievable. Oh, we picked the wrong teams, didn't we?
Yeah.
Strasbourg, funny enough, was the first team I ever did a youth to gold with.
Was it?
For the YouTube, yeah. So, done it before in my own sort of saves, but yeah. Strasbourg was the first team I did, so that's quite interesting that they've got an unbelievable player. Okay, we're on Lorient. Let's have a look at the cup. Get out. Rennes again?
Oh, I just love this game sometimes.
That's unbelievable, isn't it? Can't believe
dear.
that. That's disgusting. Dad, your Nantes side. Obviously, we know you won the Trophy de Champions.
Yeah.
11th round by PSG.
Oh, you can.
Round of 16.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pleased with
It's a
that.
good Champions League campaign. 6-3 on aggregate. Unfortunate, really, because you were 3-2 up.
Yeah.
To lose to
That'd have
Barcelona
been a good one, wouldn't it?
in the round of 16. The knockout playoff round, you actually played and beat Atletico Madrid.
Get in.
So it was really good. The league phase that you had, you just scraped through in 24, four losses there. You went to Galatasaray and lost. Well, they came to you, actually.
Yeah.
Dinamo Zagreb away from home, 1-3, beating Shakhtar, Lazio, and Copenhagen.
Scraped through. But
Good season.
I'm pleased with that.
Yeah, the 11th round where I was knocked out by Rennes is where you was knocked out by PSG, who actually, by the looks of it, went on to win it. Oh no, they got to play Laval in the final. Wow. But Luis Enrique still in the job. That, if he wins that, probably saves his job.
Yeah, probably, yeah.
After such a terrible season, but there we go. All right, Dad, Nantes, let's have a look at your team and how you've got some players growing. So 22-year-old Gramada got the most goals. He is requesting to leave, though.
Ooh.
Transfer listed by request.
Yeah.
And he is looking fantastic as well.
Yeah.
Ooh, you're going to struggle. You got Ali Cho doing okay, nowhere near as good as last season. Ribeiro locked him in. He had a full season this time around after damaging his cruciates. He's done all right.
Yeah.
And Serban as well, but the goals and goal contributions
Dried up a little bit, isn't it?
is not as much anymore, which is a shame. I mean, if we're looking at appearances, your goalkeeper still had the most, so oh my god, yeah, you picked a good goalkeeper.
He's looking good now.
Really picked a good goalkeeper, which might be the reason why I sucked, because I stuck my second choice goalkeeper in.
He needs a season or so, doesn't he?
Yeah. You got the Norwegian that you had in last season. He played a good amount of games. Kelowna did as well, so some good players that you brought in have had some good seasons and some good development. In the youth development side of things, you ain't got anybody coming through that's really lighting the world on fire just yet. left backs in there. And the transfer budget, 25 million.
Pleased with that.
That's what Champions League football gets you, though, right?
Yep.
That's 20 million more than what I'll be getting. Because goals-wise for me, just scraped in double figures. That is poor. After the good season he had, I just don't understand why it's dropped off so much, but there we go. We've got this man here as well who's come in and done the business for the first season. 11 goals, only coming off the bench 14 times.
Yeah.
Starting 25. Junior Krupi, that is so poor. That is really poor from him. My best player now, apparently, is my centre-back. So he's overtook him. I mean, I agree.
He looks good, doesn't he? Well,
Yeah.
He did look good when you bought them,
He
didn't
did, to be fair, yeah. So, wants to move to a bigger club. Brilliant, fantastic.
You can nearly 100 million from him already.
I know, yeah. I mean, yeah, if they're going to give you 100 million, I'll fly you there myself.
Yeah.
We've also got, obviously, the Romanian that I brought in is doing a good job. Rick, who played on the right-hand side, I got a few bids from him, but I rejected them from like the likes of Newcastle. I thought, give him another season. He hasn't really lit it up, really, to be honest. Kamali was, of course, a free transfer in the first season's done all right. There's a few players in here that I just think, what are we doing here, lads? The Thai centre mid, I thought he'd be better by now. He hasn't exactly grown into it too much. Am I just making bad decisions? Were my scouts good enough? These are all the questions in the Youth to Gold. You got to ask yourself, what are we doing wrong here, boys? But yeah, our transfer budget, is less than £1 million.
You got a couple of players that you can sell that don't make a difference to you, I think, though.
Well, 27 million in the red.
Yeah.
Got a lot of debts. Which I think obviously you had debts as well. I don't know whether they still got there. They're still there. Don't worry. They're still there.
Yeah.
But points-wise, well, it's still quite close because, I say close, you have took a bit of an advantage. But I did win one game in the season. You beat me 3-0 there. However, earlier on, it's probably my first good result of the season. So there we go. It's 1-1 in terms of that, but you get an extra 2 points for finishing higher, much higher in the league than what I did. So let's have a roundup of the points, shall we? So after 3 seasons, Omega Luke is on just 2 points, and Omega Dad is on 9. Well, that's 3 seasons down, Dad of the Youth to Gold. I think I need to book my ideas up, or I could be packing and I'll be sacked, and you'll start to run away with it. So
All down to the transfers now, I think, really.
big summer ahead.
Well, the thing is now, the good thing is now, we've got all youngsters in our team now, and I think we'll find it easier to sell players.
Yeah.
You know, we struggle to sell some of the players there, and you're taking some silly money from players. But now is the fun starts, I feel.
Yeah. You got to make decisions whether to sell them or to keep them on and develop them.
I mean, that one player that is wanted there, nearly 100 million. You know, you could sell one player there for like 80 million, get yourself 5 points or whatever it is.
Yeah.
And you got 80 million in the bank, couldn't
Well,
you?
I don't think he was wanted, but he was worth a lot
no, he
of
wants
money.
to leave, didn't
He
he?
wants to leave.
Yeah.
Yeah, my centre back. He's asking to leave, but there's no interest in him just yet.
I mean, I would say probably one more season,
Yeah.
and they will come looking for him.
Well, yeah, because he's only 21,
Yeah.
22-year-old centre back, as good as what he is.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that's going to be quite interesting. So
But
let's see
would
what
say,
happens.
I would say the fun's starting from this season on, really.
Yeah, I agree. And who
Yeah.
obviously we're going to be bringing in, because I need a big summer. I need to bring in some new talents. And of course, I think I need a new system. I'm going to have to be tinkering myself. So let's have a look and see what
change
happens
threats,
season number 4 during the summer.